Writing project proposals has got to be one of the most time-wasting things in the sales process. By the time we're at that stage, the deal is already done, and the paperwork itself is just a formality. And that's why I automated it, and here's how you can too. If you're new here, my name is Reese. I run Innovate, an intelligent automation company that specializes in automating end-to-end back office procedures. So that way, you and your people can spend more time selling and scaling your business. Here is how it works. We first capture information in a form. We pass those form variables to AI to enrich, and then we pass those AI enriched outputs to a template. All up, you're looking at about $75 to start, assuming you don't have any of these subscriptions. However, you can get away with a free version of Typeform if you use under 10 responses a month. I use Typeform as my front end. Typeform is just one of many form solutions out there in the market. I'm not saying you have to use it. I personally prefer it because of how visually appealing it is. I feel like it's very easy to wow someone with a good looking form. I use my Typeform to capture contextual information about the client, nothing too comprehensive, and also some contextual information about the project. What it means, if you are following along at home, just map out all the information that you need and then ask the questions in Typeform as well. PandaDocs is a document management platform. I use PandaDocs to host all of my templates across my business. You can see here, this is my project proposal template, and as I go through it, you can see variables throughout the template as well. These are variables that are populated from the information that is captured in Typeform and then enriched through AI as well. Finally, this is Make. I use Make for all of my automations, and this is a platform that connects everything together. This automation is triggered by a webhook in Typeform that instantly triggers this automation to run whenever a response is received. I use both Perplexity and OpenAI in this workflow. I use Perplexity for my research, and then I use OpenAI to refine and enrich my copy. In case you didn't know, Perplexity can read web-based URLs in real time, OpenAI can't. And the good thing is about Perplexity, if I just click on this and scroll down, you can actually contain the research to specified domains. You can see here that it would only search the company's URL, which is huge because it prevents hallucinations. The first research step that I do is on the company itself. I want to research the company to add context to the problem statement and really make it relevant and meaningful for the person that is reading this document. You can see in this step here that the persona that I use is a research assistant. The research assistant has been tasked with extracting key information from a company's URL. The information that I really want is to understand the company itself. Things like how the company operates, what it offers, and also what distinguishes it from other competitors as well. I want that output to be in a nice written summary as well that I use as an input later on. The inputs for this is just simply the company's website as well. And as I mentioned, the research is actually just contained to the company's website, so it doesn't include any other domain. I then take the problem statement and then convert it into a research subject. The reason I do this is because I really want to understand the problem at the root cause that my client is facing. The way I do that is through OpenAI because it's about enrichment, and the persona that I am using is an analyst this time. And the analyst has been tasked with extracting the core themes of the problem statement and then converting that into a macro level research subject. The input for this step is simply the problem statement that was captured in the Typeform. That research subject then becomes an input into Perplexity, and I use it to research the problem to better understand it as well. The persona that I use is a research analyst, and the research analyst has been tasked with investigating and extracting the insights from the perspective of automation. You can see here in the prompt, there's a few things that I do focus on with the research as well, and the thing to call out is I don't actually ask for a solution. Right now, it is about just understanding the problem, not recommending a solution as well. I then asked for a very simple, concise output as well that is referenced later on in this automation. The input for this one is just simply the research subject from the previous step. I then use OpenAI to define the problem statement and continue to use OpenAI throughout the whole process to enrich all the information that has been captured to date. The persona that I use for the problem statement is a business analyst. I want something that's really thought through, structured and insightful, and the business analyst has been tasked with defining a problem statement. The structure that I personally like using is starting with an overview of the company, followed by an overview of the problem, the root cause, and then any contributing factors to that root cause as well. The inputs that I use for this step is the business problem research that Perplexity has done, and also the company name to add context to the problem statement output. Now that we understand the problem, I then use OpenAI to help me define the solution. The persona that I use for this step is a proposal framing assistant, keeping in mind that I'm trying to sell the benefits of my services. This assistant is tasked with writing a compelling section that is suitable for a project proposal as well. I really want to emphasize certain information in the output, so I provide very clear instructions here, which really articulates what a version, what a good response looks like from my perspective as well. The inputs that I use for this step is the problem statement that has already been enriched by AI, as well as the proposed solution that is captured in Typeform. I then use OpenAI to help me define scope. Scope is very important for managing expectations and really talks to the boundaries that your project will operate in. I use the persona of a project manager for this step that has been tasked with really refining my in-scope items that have already been captured, and also adding some steps that I might have missed. I want that output to be in a nice bullet list, just with the space as the bullet itself. And I use the in-scope items and also the solution definition for context as the inputs for this step. Next is the out of scope. It's pretty much just a rinse and repeat of the previous step, but you might have noticed I didn't capture any information about the out of scope. That's because if I understand what is in scope, by default, I also understand what is out of scope. So similar to the previous step, I use a project manager persona, and that persona is really tasked with defining the out of scope items based on the in scope items. I want a bullet list as well, similar to the previous step, and the inputs that I use for this is the in scope section. I then do a similar approach for the assumptions. Assumptions are things that you believe to be true without any evidence. And it's very important to call these out because if they're not true, they affect your project. It could be schedule, cost, or scope. I do take a project manager persona similar to the previous steps, and the project manager is tasked with reviewing the assumptions that I've already captured and, where appropriate, adding ones that I might have missed. I want that output to be in a bullet list as well, with the line as the bullet itself. And the inputs for this step are the assumptions that I've captured in Typeform, but also the solution definition for context as well. Dependencies also follow a similar process. I use OpenAI to help me call out the things that I am relied on to deliver a project successfully. Similar to the previous steps, I do use a project manager persona. The project manager is tasked with reviewing my dependencies that have been called out, and where appropriate, adding additional dependencies. I want that output to be in a bullet list as well. And the inputs that I use for this step are the dependencies and also the solution design for context. Final step in the AI enrichment process is to develop a project timeline. The timeline really talks about the things that I'm going to deliver and when I'm going to deliver them by, to set very clear expectations with the client that I'm working with. The persona that I use for this step is a project manager. The project manager has been tasked with developing a project timeline consisting of 10 milestones and calling out the start time and the end time for each of those milestones. There's no particular reason why I chose 10, I just felt like it was a nice round number, and there are very specific instructions that I do provide to this AI to talk to the context that I'm actually working in as well. So you can see here, I go into very specific detail around how I want the timeline to match my needs. Finally, I want the output to be in a JSON format as well. You can see the template that I have provided here. The inputs that I do use for this step are the in-scope items that have been refined through AI and also the solution statement as well. Ask that AI JSON output to get access to the individual variables that were contained in that template. And finally, I then map all of the variables that I've captured throughout this process into the PandaDoc as well. All these variables are then used to populate the final output. All right, now let's try this workflow. I've already populated some of the information you can see here. Just add there. So we are working with Nike in this example. So let me just submit all this. You can see here, I've just added very basic information, nothing too comprehensive. Let's submit it. You can see that this has triggered this workflow. It is now running. All right, that was sped up. The process was a bit slower than expected, but let's look at the output together. And here's the final product. You can see that the variables are all mapped. Go down here, we've got the nice problem statement that has already been enriched by AI. We've got the proposed solution as well. The in-scope items, the out-of-scope items, assumptions, dependencies, the timeline as well, which looks pretty good at face value. And finally, the costs and also the ongoing costs. Not bad, right? Look, it's not going to be perfect, but I think the time saved here is the benefit itself, right? I just need to go over this document and then just polish it up and then just send it off. Thanks for watching, guys. If you did find this useful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you for the next video.